under the infamous orange tree that I have. I've been so blessed to have trees in my yard. So I want to welcome you to Talks with Miss Tanya. There are going to be times when the chat box is going to be open. I'm going to be answering your questions. I want to share the world of family daycare with you all. For those of you that have children in family daycare facilities, you may have questions. You may not understand why the provider has these rules, what's going on with COVID. Is your child learning anything? Like, hi, Cynthia. Hi, Miss Cynthia. These are things that questions that you may have. And so I'm here to answer your questions so that you will have a better understanding of what really happens in daycare and that we are building the bridge between parent and provider relationships because we have to do that. Because at the end of the day, you're the mom, we're the daycare, and we have to work together as a team. So I am so excited to have this series on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, Talks with Miss Tanya. And I'm going to be as transparent as I can be. As you see, I'm outside. I'm in Cali, just having a wonderful time today. It's Sunday, and I know that a lot of us are preparing for our work week. And so, as providers, we really don't have weekends, like full weekends, because Saturdays or Sundays is typically shopping and preparing for the next week. And so, we're working Monday through Friday, most of us. Some work 24 hours, 7 days a week. I get it, there's a need for it. And even for those providers that are working 7 days a week, it's a whole lot if you don't have staff. Whew, staff. We're gonna talk about staff too. Staff is so hard to come by nowadays. It is so hard to find someone that really understands what it's like to work in a family daycare. A lot of people think, oh, you're just watching TV. You're going to feed them a few meals and some snacks, and they may play with some little blocks for a little bit, and that's it. No, that is not what we do in family daycare. Oh, Cynthia, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I really want to hear from the parents too, and from other providers like yourself as well. I started daycare when I was 23 years old. I was young. I was a young mother with two children. As you guys know, I'm outside, so you're going to hear all the elements. It is what it is, the dogs, the trees waving, the oranges falling, all of that. So I started daycare when I was 23, two children, and my husband at the time had two children. So we had a combined family of four. So it was a lot. Of course, I didn't want to go back to work. I was working at the bank as a teller, working at Wells Fargo Bank as a teller. I didn't want to go back because I wanted to be able to stay home and rear my own children. I'm from Ohio. My mother never worked until we got older. So we were always with my mom or my grandmother or aunt or somebody like that. And to have to leave my babies, I was like, daycare was so expensive. I didn't qualify for a program. So let me go ahead and try this. And my grandmother was the only one that was like, you should do it. I think you should. My mother was like, no, you need the stability of the bank. You need to stay there. I was the merchant teller. Okay. And so I was just like, I don't know. But my heart was, let's do this daycare because I had a wonderful provider for my daughter for 2 years. She was really good. And I was like, I could do this. The nurturing came into play when I had my daughter. So I was just a mother from birth, from the moment she was born. I mean, a good mother, you know what I'm saying. And so I definitely loved being with my child, spending time with my child. And when I had the second one, I was like, no, I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. So I decided to stay home, and I did. And it was the best decision that I had ever made. And then again at 23. So I was, wasn't out in the streets partying, wasn't doing all that. I was a mom. I was a young mother. And those just were the circumstances. I got married at 23 to my first husband. That lasted a little while. Daycare can destroy your marriage. Let me say that if you don't have a strong foundation. Because once you become a provider, you're all in. You're all in. It's all about the daycare, it's about the supplies that you need. Like I said, it's a never ending thing for us. It's a 7 day a week thing. Even we dream about it in our sleep sometimes. Okay. It's like, okay, what am I going to do tomorrow? What is my theme going to be for next month? Like this year, is 2/22/22. So that's a special date, right? And so I was like, wow, I want to do something special for that for the daycare. I'm thinking this in like December. So my sister says, well, you know what? That's um that's on a Tuesday. I was like, really? So then I go on Etsy, I go on Pinterest, I'm on Amazon. 2/22/22, Taco Tuesday. This is a date that is so special. And so I was like, you know what? We're gonna do this. So I ordered the t-shirts. I let other providers know about it. Cynthia, please, if you can, 2/22/22 on the Taco Tuesday party, but on steroids. Okay, like we're just gonna have a ball. We're gonna have a ball. I don't do all of the holidays and all that, but I do parties and I do parties with themes. And so I love that for my daycare babies. I love that and they love it. And so I can't wait. I can't wait. My t-shirt came. Yay, Cynthia. I can't wait. My t-shirt came and it's super cute. I'll send it to you, Cynthia. The link. I ordered it off of Etsy, of course, and it came on time. So you still have time to order it. And I'm just so excited about that. I already have I already have like a lot of the the tableware for Taco Tuesday because we do that anyway in daycare. Like that's one of the things that we do. So I have a lot of things already, so I didn't have to purchase a lot. But I'm just excited about it. 2/22/22 Taco Tuesday. That is that, and that is like I want to say that Debrat and Judy were getting married on that day. I was all in with uh the Brat loves Judy or Judy loves the Brat, whatever it was called. I was all in. And so I remember the date. I remember that date, I think. It was either 2/2/22 or 2/22/22. So I'm thinking that was the date. So I am just like so excited to share with you all just how daycare is really ran in a family home. The things that we do on a daily basis. And just the time and the effort that we put into it. And all of the questions, you have some parents that think that you're their nanny, and you're not. We're not nannies, we're daycare. And I have nothing against nannies. My hat is off to nannies. Yes, it is. It is off to nannies. My sister has had nanny. She has a wonderful nanny now for my nephews there in San Diego, and I can't keep them. And the nanny life is totally different, well, to a certain extent, than daycare. Because in daycare, we have our own rules and our own contracts and things like that, to where if a parent wants to come in, these are the guidelines. And if you're going to be someone's nanny, then I'm sure that you have your own, set of rules and guidelines as well. But you're doing exactly what the parent wants you to do in their home. So there is a bit of a difference there. And so I love nannies. I have nothing against them. Like I said, my hat goes off to them. It's just that there is a difference, and I know some nannies, so I'm going to see if I can discussion. They can join in on the lives, and we can have discussion about the difference between being a nanny and being daycare. And I will say this: the nannies of today are nothing like the nannies of yesterday. Okay, let me tell you, they are totally different. They're amazing. They have, their set of rules, their conditions, or whatnot. And if a parent can't live up to what they have, what they want, then they're not the nanny. So it's definitely a difference here. These careers are evolving, and what I will say is that you have motherhood, and you have those that need to go to work or whatnot. Then you have daycare. A lot of parents do not want their children in a childcare setting at infancy. They feel better with a smaller environment, less numbers of infants there. The teacher student ratio is different. So in California, being licensed for large daycare, which is 12, and 14 if you have two school agers, you can have three infants if you have, 14 children. But if you don't, then you can have four infants. So you can have four infants, which is in California, an infant is considered 0 to 2. I wish they would change that. 0 to 2. By the time you one, you walking, talking, saying some words. In most states that I know of dealing with other providers, they don't have that 2-year-old restriction for infants. So when you're dealing with infants, it's totally different. Um, the risk is a lot greater, and you need to have a wonderful, wonderful provider that understands, if nothing else, how serious SIDS is, sudden infant death syndrome. You must know the severity of SIDS. I just read on Facebook yesterday that another provider had called this provider and said that she was hysterical because she had a child that came to daycare. The child was asleep. She didn't wake the child up. That's a no-no. The child was asleep for hours. The baby never woke up. Mm, give me a minute. The baby never woke up. So now the provider, the parent are in this thing where, when did it happen? Where did it happen? How did it happen? When the provider, as providers, please do this. When you receive a child, I don't care if they are asleep, if they are in a car seat, take them out of the car seat. Wake them up. Make sure they're breathing. Make sure they're moving. Move a limb. Make sure they snatch it back or something. But you must do this. You cannot just take a child in and just, oh, girl, don't wake them up. Don't wake them up. No, no, I have to. Baby's okay. All right. Before you walk out this door, I need you to take the baby out the car seat. I need you to hand the baby to me. When mom comes to pick the baby up, mom, here you go. Oh, you can just put her in the car seat. No, ma'am. Here you go. I'm going to give you the baby, and you are going to make sure that the baby is fine, that she's breathing okay, all of those things, that her limbs are moving, all of that. You're going to make sure that this baby is alive when you leave my home. No one is at blame for SIDS. It happens. However, when you're dealing with someone else's child and they trust you with that, you never want to have to make that phone call that there's been a tragic accident, anything to their child. Imagine how you would feel if you had to make that call. Imagine how you would feel if you were the parent that was getting that call. SIDS is real. It's called the Safe Sleep Initiative. So while we're on this topic, this wasn't my topic for today, but while we're here, if you have, let me say this, in the hospital, they teach you to swaddle. Swaddle, 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 swaddle. Licensing tells us no swaddling. You can't restrict a child's arms at all. Now, they do have the sleeping bags that they put the baby in, right? So you can get the ones where the arms are up or where the arms are out. But you cannot in daycare swaddle a baby and restrict and constrict them. You cannot do that. So the hospital needs to get on board with what really needs to be done with these babies. I understand you want them to feel like they're still in the womb and all of that. However, it increases the risk of SIDS. And you can go to the Safe Sleep Initiative. You can view it for yourself. You can read it for yourself. You can do your own research. Now, in daycare, we're supposed to always see the children at all times. So we have a in the state of California, many other states, to where every 15 minutes when a child is sleeping, you are to go and make sure that that child is still breathing. You're to put the time that you checked, side, and tummy. So you have to check the box there to show where the child was. So if you're checking a child every 15 minutes, and and for me that's not even long enough. I'm like, I need to see you. I need to see you breathing. I need to see your back rising or your chest rising if you're on your side. And this is another thing. Parents say, "Oh, they can sleep on their stomach as an infant." No, they can't. Not in daycare. No, they can't. Don't get caught up in that. It's either on their back or on their side when they're infants. Once they can roll over, sit up, turn that head, all that, then it's safe for them to sleep on their tummy. But you still need to watch them. And then they have this thing they put on the ankles called, I believe it's the owlet or something like that. And it's supposed to measure the the heartbeat under, through the mattress and all that. I get all that. Nothing is better than you checking physically and making sure that this child is okay, that this child is breathing. You must do that. And I know sometimes at daycare, you got that baby that's crying, 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 crying. And you be like, whoo, when he go to sleep, I ain't about to wake him up. But you going to check on him. You better. You better check on him. There's no way that you should just leave a child just sleep and you ain't checking on him. No. No. And if you sleep too long, I'm gonna wake you up. Okay? So SIDS is real. And check out the Safe Sleep Initiative. Check with your licensing agency to see what the guidelines are, to make sure that you are doing what you need to do and you're meeting all the requirements that need to be done. Because you don't want to be the provider that has to make that call to that parent. I can't imagine how devastated this provider and this family is. I just can't at all. So I'm going to share that. I'm going to keep sharing that. Do not swaddle your baby's arms. I know you want them, to feel like they're in the room and all that. Lean them arms out. Because sometimes that arm will give them that momentum, or that arm, they can move it and, get that heart back to beating or whatever if they start breathing. You just never know. But we cannot do what the hospital says do. I'm just saying it. And there may be some that don't agree. It is what it is. In daycare, this is the law in California. And you can check it out and read it for yourself. You can call licensing yourself. We are not allowed to swaddle. Okay? Not at all whatsoever. Not the arms at all. The child needs to be able to move something. And the word I was looking for was sleep sack. Sleep sack. It just came to me. Look, I'm 54, y'all. Okay, I be forgetting stuff sometimes. It's a sleep sack. So I just want to come on here. I just want to go live to let everyone know that on Sundays at 11 Pacific Standard Time, 11 a.m., Ms. Tonya is going to be going live as often as possible because I want to build that bridge. I want to build this community. I want mothers and grandparents and dads and aunts and uncles to come on and ask these questions because sometimes it can be a little intimidating asking your provider some things if they're not that approachable. And so if you can get an answer from another provider and maybe understand why that provider is that way, then that's what this platform is for. So I'm building a community here. I want to thank you all. Look, we're going to be outside. I'm in sunny California. My heart goes out to those that were in the storm Keenan. My heart goes out to you all. I love that snow, though. I will say that. I'm from Ohio, and I do miss that snow. So listen, enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Tell everybody you know about Talks with Tonya on Sundays, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And until next time, enjoy.